So when the pandemic started, became increasingly isolated, as I'm sure you're aware of. And even if I wanted to see friends, some of them were just uncomfortable to meet or kind of thing. So then I remember seeing some advertising online, and I had seen advertising for LiveJasmin before, but this time, now that it was sort of this isolated situation, I wanted to sort of delve into this new way kind of interacting with people, because I think LiveJasmin provides a lot of opportunities and things that a lot of other websites simply do not. So it was it was really nice actually during that time because of just being super isolated, quite frankly.
Absolutely. I'm curious, have you used or tried other sites, campsites?
Just really one of them.
What are some of the differences that you noticed between LiveJasmin and the other site? If there was anything notable that stood out to you?
Well, one thing for sure I like better about LiveJasmin is that you have the ability to send audios, so it can be your voice. Since I like playing music, send a little music clip to someone. And that's just something that I don't think the other websites provide, or I'm just not that great at navigating it. I'm pretty sure it does not provide that. And I think, for what it's worth, I think LiveJasmin, their layout it's just the most inviting. Sort of, some of the other ones are just a little bland, but
Well, that's really good to hear.
those are the two main differences. But
So it sounds like to me that what really drew you in to LiveJasmin initially was the need that we all kind of faced in this crazy, unpredictable time of the pandemic, this need to connect. Is that fair to say?
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and honestly, I was pretty skeptical of the whole interacting with a lot of people online before. I'd had good interactions, online, but I think after being a member for 2 years, I've sort of found that really any positive interaction, whether it's with someone in real life or someone on a webcam, it's just better than isolation. It's better than just withdrawing yourself from everything. So I wasn't always thinking that was true, but it's come to my awareness it is now. So, sort of delving off into another point, I think LiveJasmin, it's a great way to practice reading body language in people. It doesn't just have to be in real life.
Now, listening to you, I've heard you say basically two big benefits that you feel like LiveJasmin brought into your life. The first, and the reason what drew you in, being connection. And the second is that you've actually, it sounds like, been able to learn more about how we relate to each other.
Yeah, so I would say so, for sure.
Interesting, very interesting. Taking that one step further, do you feel like your interactions on LiveJasmin have translated to more positive interactions in your day-to-day life from what you've learned, either in your dating life with women or being able to read body language, like you mentioned?
I'd say it has provided a positive sort of outlook on that. I've yet to apply it really to, say, the dating realm, but I'll sort of bring it back to the point of I'm extremely skeptical of online dating. But I don't know, somehow just being on LiveJasmin has given me a little bit of hope for that. And you sort of add to that, I don't know, just a lot of people don't want to date today, worried about getting COVID. So yeah, at the very least, it's given me an opportunity to realize that these platforms, they have more to offer than I think I sometimes realize. It's just more apparent with LiveJasmin.
So what that says to me, if your interactions on LiveJasmin have given you more hope for online dating, then that tells me that you feel like you've had some really positive and probably authentic experiences. Is that fair to say?
Well, yeah, I mean, you will get a fair, well, actually, I'll phrase it this way. No, you will get some models who don't want to interact as much, but I like to interact with models who will, they'll say something to me every time. A lot of them are waiting for the man to initiate, which I get it, but I go on to LiveJasmin because it's just a great opportunity to talk to people, and I've realized I can actually make friends online. So I guess that's one thing.
What would you say is the number one and main benefit that LiveJasmin brings to your life? The main value that it provides?
It's just a good opportunity to meet people, and it just sort of blossomed from there. Because I was a little shy at first, so then I get a little more into feeling comfortable to actually ask someone about their culture. So it's hard to pinpoint any one thing. It's sort of how it culminates, I'd say, in like the first week of when it's going well. And as a result, some of the models have shown interest in maybe learning English. So I'll like to tell them, if they're struggling with a word, I'll tell them this word, and maybe they'll tell me a word in Spanish or something like that. So I'd say if I had to make it to one point, I'd say it's best because you just get to learn to interact with people even more, because there's infinite things you can learn in life, whether you live 100 lives or one life. So
I love that.
An elongated answer, sorry.
No, that's honestly the best for interviews. The longer, the better. I love what you said, that the things that you can learn in life are infinite. That is so true. Do you have a favorite memory, like connection-based memory on LiveJasmin?
Yeah, I'd say one of my favorite memories is one of my favorite models on there was reminding her of my birthday for quite a while, and she was not even working that day. She was not even camming that day, and she just went out of her way to message me, let me know, say a happy birthday. So it's really just the simpler things like that, because I know it means a lot to people, not just models on this website, that you reach out to them every day. And not only that you remember things about them. And just how I know it's genuine is just because she just didn't have to do that. She's not getting any monetary gain. There's really no benefit other than interacting with someone you want to interact with, sort of. So,
Do you have a favorite model on the site?
I didn't always, but I'd say at this point, I kind of do. At this point, basically.
What is it that you like about her?
She's almost constantly kind, and even in the few situations where she wasn't so kind about things, I felt like I could tell her that I'm not okay with that, so let's try to redirect from there, kind of thing. Some people might just say, oh well, you don't like that the way I treat you, okay, then get out of my room, kind of thing. But I think it's her willingness to not only go out of her way to talk to me, but just to learn from mistakes, sort of kind of deal. I've certainly made mistakes on LiveJasmin, but it's important to have a little humility when those kinds of things happen. So I'd say that's probably the two main reasons.
How do you feel that she has helped you learn from your mistakes? I mean, that is like fundamental in life. That's a huge thing.
She would always point it out if I was not if I was just being rude. So it just kind of came to a point where it's like, okay, I feel anger. Everyone feels anger, but just can't be taking it out on people anymore like that. No one's perfect. So I think it's just that reminder that some behavior is not acceptable, but not that it's just unacceptable, that it can be transformed into something better. So I think thankfully it has been made into something better.
That is such a valuable thing to have people in your life that are willing to say, hey, I see this and I'm not comfortable with it, or it's not cool, because then it gives you the opportunity as a human to grow and get better, as opposed to just having yes men around you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I know it's bad sometimes, but sometimes people aren't even that aware when they get angry. So it's just about having that conscious awareness, I would say. And like you just mentioned, having someone who who can and will point it out to you. They're not going to just let you get away with that, so to speak.
How often are you using LiveJasmin a week?
Um, I've honestly, since I started, it's almost a bit of an addictive website. I go on most days. I've probably been on every day minus a couple days where I was just extremely busy, sort of deal. Because part of my thing with some of my relationships is I want to talk with someone every day. It's okay to have some distance, but if there's an opportunity to do it, I'd like to continue the train of the conversation, sort of deal.
Yeah, that's incredible. I'm curious, as someone that has gone on it daily since you've joined, that's kind of like social media, right? Like we're all on social media daily.
Oh yeah.
How do you think that like Twitter, Instagram, or traditional social media compares to LiveJasmin, in your opinion?
Additional. Um, in a way, I don't really think Facebook is as personal as I would like it to be in Instagram versus LiveJasmin. Another big thing is, I don't know how I feel about the security of Facebook. I've never had it, which is going to bring me to another point. I've never had an issue of feeling like my security's been violated on LiveJasmin. If anything else, if anything, I think the staff, when you have questions, are extremely helpful, and they'll just be very frank with you. So in that way, I'm actually very appreciative for the way they do that with LiveJasmin.
No, that's great to hear. So you feel like the customer service has been up to par with your standards?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've asked a couple of questions related to sending messages, and they'll get back to you basically immediately. And if they happen to be busy, it'll actually tell you, oh, sorry, we're busy now. We'll be back. Try back in 5-10 minutes. I just think some websites would give you a less straightforward answer. They'd sort of like run you around saying like, oh yeah, no, we'll be there, but they won't really be there.
Is there anything about the site that we haven't touched on that you would like to share or mention?
Yeah, I'll just sort of relate back to a couple of the points. I think just being on LiveJasmin, it's just helped open my view of sort of the power of relationships, basically. As I mentioned before, even if they're not there physically in person. And it kind of sounds cheesy, but it reminds me that also, that like loving someone in some way is really just being there for someone. It's like kind of hard to love someone if you're never there for them, kind of deal. It might not have always seemed that way to me, but that's something I've sort of noticed. And one thing I haven't mentioned, and I think this is extremely important thing in life is LiveJasmin. It gives you an opportunity to because you basically need to compromise with some things at some points, you know. Not always you're gonna get what you want, but through that, practicing that patience and actually talking to the models, you'll find, you know, stuff you both like, maybe stuff you both don't like. And that compromise might be something you wanted to do that person doesn't like. So you just have to find kind of that middle ground. I've never found being patient really an issue with me. Like just teaching me how to learn to how to compromise in real life, because it's not clearly, the models are not just there for any one person. It's their job, it's their career. So it's extremely important to respect that. Obviously, you guys provide pretty amazing discounts. I forget, I don't think I mentioned that earlier, but you guys have the best discounts, which is one of the things that will bring me back to LiveJasmin.
Absolutely. This has been a wonderful interview. I love to end the interviews by asking one final question, which is, what is something that you are the most grateful for in your life right now?
Just the opportunity, really the opportunity to live where I live and have the opportunity to make lasting connections with people. Because that's really ultimately what I want with LiveJasmin. It's not to just have it be temporary connections, but actually have it be altruistic and lasting, hopefully. So
That's really beautifully said. Thank you so much.
yeah, no problem. I like how the way we conduct the interview, you know, it's not just the person getting interviewed talking the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just trying my best to actually look at the
You did a
camera
great
as
job.
well, you know.